Hello, I'm DBHDS Commissioner Nelson Smith, and thanks for joining us for our second installment of Conversations with the Commissioner. The point of this is to hear what's going on around the agency and also to give people an opportunity to ask questions and also for you to hear about what other people do in the agency. Today we're joined with Director of Community Engagement, Scott Turner, and Imoni Hamlette, recreational therapist. And so yeah, tell us what you do.
Well, as you said, Director of Community Engagement, it's a new position that we've put in place here at Eastern State Hospital. And it's given me the opportunity personally to take the place where I work and love and have for 25 years and engage in the community where I have lived for almost half a century. Getting anything from elected officials to even neighborhood folks in to learn more about what we're actually doing at Eastern State Hospital and how we're a value-added member of the community. And we do care about our stakeholders, and we want to make sure that we have those relationships in place and we're doing our part. Imoni?
So yes, I'm a rec therapist here. We're known as the fun people here at the hospital. So in addition to that, though, I do groups on the unit for the patients and out at our secure hallways. But I'm also, a passion of mine here is kind of event planning. So doing events for the patients from Veterans Day to Juneteenth. So just getting them more involved and engaged in different things that we offer.
That's awesome. We love our rec therapy and the folks that show us off too. We need more of that.
Well, and I'm also a rec therapist by trade, so
natural transition. What else is going on down here at Eastern State? I mean, you've got a big celebration this whole weekend. I mean, what else?
Well, yeah, the celebration has been a push, not only to honor the patients of the past, the staff of the past, because we're talking tens of thousands of people on both sides. When you think of that, over 250 years. And I think it's put a lot of pressure on us to reevaluate what we're doing at the hospital, how we're doing it, and how we can better serve our patients. And equally as important, how we treat our employees and the opportunities that we're trying to offer to them, not just about salary, but quality of life, work-life balance. Been working on making sure that our people aren't having to work so much overtime that they don't get to get out and enjoy their lives. We preach that to our patients as rec therapists. We should be doing the same thing with our employees.
Yeah, I agree. I think investing in them and training them and preparing them for what's to come, and also pathways. I hear that there's potentially a VPSL1 nominee here that we need to get into the course as soon as possible.
Yeah, I think that'd be Imoni. I've had my VPSL experiences and they've been wonderful.
Yeah, I look forward to trying to do it. Like Scott was saying, I think it's important to feel like you can grow somewhere, and though money is important, having those other opportunities to learn different things, to bring, also going to events, and we do CEUs, so going to things and being able to bring it back to the patients and show them what we're learning is really important too. Working here can be challenging sometimes, but it's super important, and it's important to, like you were saying, invest in the workers that are here.
Yeah, I'm on board, so I hope to see you there soon.
Yeah, me too.
Well, Commissioner, I'd like to ask you a question, starting with, it's our 250th year, and we're really excited about it. We have a lot of events going on around it, but in the bigger picture, what does the 250th mean, not only for DBHDS, but the communities of Virginia and Virginia as a whole?
Sure. Well, I've learned a lot over these past few days and weeks when I'm, considering what does it mean. I've learned a lot about actually what took place here. I would say the evolution or beginning of modern mental health care as we know it from the superintendent, John Galt, was the first one to advocate for more community-based, making sure that people thrive in their communities versus just institutionalization, whereas mental health care was treated more like a public safety mechanism where it was to keep them locked up away from their communities. And so if you look at that journey, 250 years, it's taken a long time to get to where we are today. I think it's something that we've learned from, and we're going to continue to learn from. We're going to continue to grow, and we need to lean into that more, into that community-based care. So, yeah, it's interesting. You think about all the people that have passed through here, the journeys that they've been on, the thousands of employees over the years that have taken care of so many. It's monumental.
So the new state budget was recently signed. What does that mean for DBHDS?
Yeah, that's a great question. It was a little bit overdue, but we're very happy. You know, we're one of the governor's largest priorities, behavioral health care. So we got most of what the governor asked for in his budget. We got over $150 million coming to our agency, and more importantly, 2% raises for most state employees is a very big deal. But $150 million, over $150 million coming to us directly, which is a large chunk of that is for our crisis system. So $58 million to build crisis receiving centers. You know, I talked about leaning into the keeping people in their communities, building more of these buildings that Virginian can go to and receive mental health care treatment right away versus waiting or not knowing where to go. That's a huge step in that direction. So the governor definitely wants to build more of these all over and upgrade some of the other ones. You know, the other part of the spectrum is we got over $30 million for permanent supportive housing. These are individuals that, you know, otherwise may end up in our state hospitals that you see, they don't have a home. So they go in and out of institutions. So this will provide more of a stable platform for them to thrive and be in their communities. So there's a lot of really cool things in the budget. Again, it hits on every part of the system, whether it's from prevention and intervention to the crisis system, and then helping people go back to their communities.
In your last conversation with the commissioner, you talked about the One DBHDS initiative. How would you see that affect us in our everyday jobs here at Eastern State Hospital?
Yeah, you know, I love this topic because to me, work, I don't want to say it's like family. We're like weird family. We are all a bunch of weird cousins or something, but we spend so much time around each other. So getting to know each other, to understand where we're coming from, that we're all working in that same direction, that's a big task for us to do. 24/7, 365, to change a culture. And so we've made some moves in that direction. We've had the employee engagement survey that went out to give a voice to everyone. And hopefully we'll start seeing some actions where leaders are going to be engaging and saying, you know, you said, we did. We want them to know that we've heard their voice. But the brand that comes along with that, you know, the new logo, you know, it's the arrows moving forward. We talked about that last time. It's to give people the idea that they're part of something bigger. That it's not just Eastern State, that it's not just a CSBX or whatever, that we're all one group working towards true healing and making tremendous impacts in our communities. And so I love knowing that I'm part of this, and I hope that everyone feels that same passion, because once we get that, man, that's the magic sauce. That is the magic sauce, in my opinion. And look out for the branding guidelines. You know, it's not to, you know, be like authoritarian or anything like that. Again, it's that little things like that matter, right? We're all the same, right? Everyone likes to do things differently all the time, and this is something that's important to me, I think, is that we're moving towards this total solution together. Now, if you have any suggestions, reach out to either Lauren Cunningham or Cassie Grillen. Yeah, just really exciting time for me, I think. Hopefully you too.
Workforce is a concern across the department, and we're definitely feeling it in the facilities. So how are we as an agency working to grow that workforce?
Yeah. Well, like I said, you know, earlier, you always hear culture eats strategy for breakfast. It's good in words, but in practice, it's important. So that's where the employee engagement went out to over 5,500 folks. And we have a very big system. 63% of them answered those things. And so we're in the process of gathering that data and figuring out what these common trends are and themes. But I can tell you the early look is that communication, we need to be very good and better at communication. But it's easier said than done, because if you can imagine, I talked about 24/7, 365. You ever played the whisper game in school where you start on one side of the classroom and you say like a word, and what
Oh,
is it?
yeah.
What does it end up on the other side? Okay, imagine doing that with 5,500 people, 24/7, 365. It's a very hard thing to do. And I don't think anywhere in the nation's figured out, but I'm confident that we can. Right? And part of that is just really listening to what people are saying, good, bad, or indifferent, and saying, hey, I heard you. Sometimes we can't do all of that. But there's an easy thing that I think we need to do and we want to do. For example, food service and EVS. I mean, our folks are working their tails off, and they're getting sometimes $12 an hour. To me, I think the Commonwealth can do better for Virginians, for people that do so much for us. So we're going to be working on that really hard. And again, I know we've been talking about it for a long time. I'm feeling pretty good. Those are a couple of things. We just had a workforce summit where we had over 100 individuals from the whole system. Everybody came together to represent, again, the system. And they had breakout sessions where they came up with some things that we need to work on. And I got to be honest, they presented these things to me at the end of this whole day, and it shouldn't be shocking, but it's shocking because most of what they asked or said that we should do are very simple things. Providing career ladders or paths. Some of it was just letting people know what is available. We have a lot of cool things that are available for folks, whether it's educational or VPSL or things like that. They want to know that there's a future, not just this flat trajectory.
Commissioner, I had a chance to look at the strategic plan recently. I'm wondering where we are, progress, adaptations to it. Where are we on that?
Just for everyone to understand, the strategic plan is a living, breathing thing that it should be adjusted as we hit our targets, or maybe some of the things we said we were going to do, it's not really relevant anymore. So and we put it public facing on purpose so we can be held accountable, so we can show, the citizens of the Commonwealth what we're doing, what we're up to, and also to help the community align what they're doing with, hopefully align with what we're doing. But we've made a tremendous amount of progress. Our licensing division, they have moved mountains. When you think about to get licensed in the Commonwealth, it took a year and a half or more, sometimes 2 years, depending. That people coming from other states to set up businesses to treat our individuals, well, that was a lot to ask. So they were able to get that down to under 30 days. But that means they have a bigger burden too. So we have to work to help them and get them relief, because now we have a lot of providers. But that's just one thing. Peer supports. I mentioned earlier today at the celebration here that peers are something. It's a relatively new profession, but I can tell you it's one of the most impactful, in my opinion. There are people who with lived experience, who have been down that road, who help people go down that same, walking with them so they don't go down the same road. But we set a goal to I think we're at 115% of the goal already, and it's not even the end of the year. So the peer recovery team and the recovery division has done a wonderful job out in force recruiting people and getting people into that field. So we still have a long way to go when it comes to some of the data things. IT takes a long time, but they have been working really hard when it comes to like a data warehouse or a data exchange. Just to get all those things set up in the background is a very heavy lift, I've learned. But yeah, we've made really good progress. And if you really want to check it out, go to DBHDS website, and we have all the graphs and all the fancy things to look at. It'll tell you how we're doing. Thank you all so much for joining me here today, actually letting me join you on this lovely day. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better day. But no, it's been great. We always like showing off, and I look forward to hearing more in the future because I know I'll be back to visit everybody. And stay tuned for more. Next time, we will have a new guest with new questions so we can bring you up to speed on what's going on in the Commonwealth.